Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Aqueduct Racetrack here on Saturday. It is March the 30th, 2019. I'm going to look at all the races on the program from Aqueduct, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. It's the claiming championship today from Aqueduct, and it's a great card. 10 races to look at, and this is kind of the Breeders' Cup for the the smaller stables, and I like it. So 10 races to look at. They're all wide open. Let's get on to it. Starting off with the opener, goes off at 1:30 here in New York City. The first race, it is the Bell, as my iPad craps out, but it is the Bell Galenti Stakes. It's a starter stakes going for a purse of $45,000. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards, and never start for a claim price of $8,000 or less in 2018 or 19. We have a field of 6 horses going to post the distance of ground of 1,400 meters, or the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the Aqueduct main track. 1,400, 7 furlongs. And one thing, because it just reminded me, one thing I would like to see during maybe they should do this towards the end of the month, or maybe in the summer. They should do a claiming championship for the turf horses also for each turf division, but that'll be good for the summer months. But my top selection here in the opener, I'm going to take the number 2 horse, who is, again, as my iPad craps out, it always does this during these videos. Time for a new one. But the top selection is the 2 horse Stella B. I'll go 2-4. 6-1 in the superfecta, 2-4-6-1 super. The top selection of 2 are Stella B, 4-year-old filly here. Dylan Davis gets leg up for Chris Englehart. The horse's most recent outing came New Year's Day at Parks, a mile 1/16 and a claiming 7,500 on 2L. The horse won by 3, sat back early, took off clear, and could have won by more, but it doesn't get any easier than that. Maybe it took a lot out of the horse because it hasn't been seen since then, but coming here to Aqueduct, lesser quality horses, I think this horse really do well. He's been training well over at Belmont. Before that, ran the 6th of September at Delaware, 1 mile claiming 15, and the horse finished third by 4 lengths there. Was a wide post, didn't break all that well, and it just was a very weird race for this horse there. And then at Laurel on the 4th of August, about a mile 16th on the main track and a claiming 25,000. He finished 5th by 9 1/4 lengths, was very wide that day and just never showed up. I think the 7 furlong trip should suit him. I think the layoff should suit him, and he's run some good races on dirt going 1 turn. Just his 2-turn races haven't been up to par. He's won twice. Once last time out of Parks, and before that he won December of 2017 at Parks, going a mile to main 35, where the horse won by 8 3/4 on the lead almost all throughout. That was a very good victory. This horse has speed if he wants to use it, but also he could come from a tracking position. I think here he'll track, and I think he'll get a good run, so at 10-1 I'll use him. So to recap my selections for the opener from Aqueduct, it's Bell Galenti Stakes. Gonna go with the 2 horse Stella B. I'll go 2-4-6-1 in the superfecta. To race number 2. Race number 2 from Aqueduct, it's the Videogenic Stakes. It's going for a purse of $55,000. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards, which never started for a claim price of $12,500 and less in 2018 or 19. Field of 7 horses are going to post the distance of ground of 1,200 meters, or the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the Aqueduct main track. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs. Top selection here in the Videogenic, I'm going to go to the number 4 horse, who is Miss Jack. I'm going to go 4-7-2-5 in the superfecta. 4-7-2-5 super. Top selection of 4 horse Miss Jack. 4-year-old filly by gemologist Victor Carrasco gets the leg up. The horse's most recent outing came 2 weeks ago on the 15th of March at Laurel. 6 furlongs and ops, 35 claimer. The horse finished 6th by 4.5 lengths there, and down the backstretch this horse had to take up, and just really couldn't recover after that. It wasn't the day to win. I think coming back here, a quick return, back to facing the good quality horses, I think he can run well. But before that, he ran the 18th of February at Laurel, Mighty Seal going 6 furlongs in a handicap. They had a sprinting, series at Laurel this winter, and this horse won the final leg of it. He won by 1 1/4. He stalked early on. He got the lead, and then he took off. That was a very impressive victory there. Leg 2 of that series, going 5.5 on the mud at Laurel in a handicap. He finished 2nd by 2 lengths. He just never really got into it. He never had that good turn of foot. It wasn't the day to win. And then again at Laurel, 5 furlongs in the first series of that sprinting series. He finished third by 3/4 of the length. Was very wide, and I just don't think the 5 furlongs was to his liking. But he did win going 5.5 before that, Laurel, very nicely in a very tough allowance race. Won by 2.5, and he just went away with it. He has some speed if he wants to use it. He could also stalk. He's been training well. Like I said, just throughout that last one because he got basically tackled on the backstretch. So to recap my selections for the second from Aqueducts, it's the Videogenic. Gonna go with the 4-horse Miss Jack. I'll go 4-7-2-5 in the superfecta. To race number 3. Race number 3 from Aqueduct. It is the Dad's Cap Stakes. It's a starter stakes going for a purse of $45,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. Never start for a claim price of $8,000 or less in 2018 or 19. We have a field of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters with a distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the main track. 1,400, 7 furlongs. My top selection here in the Dad's Caps, I like the number 3 horse. It's All Relevant. I'm going to go 3-8-5-7 in the superfecta. 3-8-5-7 super. Top selection of 3 horse. It's All Relevant. This 6-year-old gelding by Hard Spun. Rudy Rodriguez trains. Dylan Davis gets the leg up. The horse's most recent outing came 4 weeks ago, the 2nd of March here at Aqueduct. 1 mile claiming 12.50. He won by 3 3/4 there. He stalked early on from a wide post draft. He got the lead and then he took off. It was a slow main track, but he still did very well there. He was claimed out of that race from Linda Rice now to Rudy Rodriguez. Before that, this horse ran the 7th of February at Aqueduct on a muddy but harrowed main track, 1 mile claiming 8. He won by 5 1/4, and again was wide around the turn, but he stalked early on. He got the lead and he took off. He could have won by more, but it doesn't get any easier than that. And then the 4th of January at Aqueduct, 1 mile claiming 16. He finished 5th by 9 3/4. He was wide throughout, and he never really got into it. That was a very weird run. He should have done a lot better than he did. Maybe the quick turnaround from the race before of 2 weeks got to him. This horse, I think, does his better running with a month between races. The race before came the 15th of December at Aqueduct, 1 mile on claiming 20. He won by 5, and he took off clear after a stalking position. He has time between the races, 4 weeks here, and I think he'll run well. So 5-2, I'll take him as a top selection. Not the best price in the world, but to recap my selection for the third from Aqueduct, it's the Dad's Caps. Gonna go with the 3 horse. It's All Irrelevant. I'll go 3-8-5-7 in the superfecta. To race number 4 now from Aqueduct. Race number 4 from Aqueduct, it's the Peeping Tom Stakes. It's a starter stakes going for a purse of $70,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. Never start for a claim price of $20,000 or less in 2018 or 19. We have a field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1,300 meters, or the distance of ground of 6.5 furlongs on the main track. 1,300 meters, 6.5 main track. My top selection here, I'm going to go to the number 8 horse, who is Bon Racin. I'm going to go 8-6-2-4 in the superfecta. 8-6-2-4 super. Top selection 8 horse Bon Racin. This 4-year-old colt by Racing Diet. Carlos Martin trains. Eric Hansel gets the leg up. The horse's most recent outing came the 9th of March here at Aqueduct. 6 furlongs in the Tom Fool handicap. He finished 6th by 9 3/4 lengths there. Those horses were much the best there. He didn't break all that well. He got basically sucker punched at the start. It was wide, and wide. It just wasn't the day to win. Before that at Aqueduct, 7 furlongs and an off 6-2 claimer. The horse finished 4th by 5 3/4, and that day he set the pace early on, and then he just kind of kicked the wall. It wasn't the day to win. And then allowance race 6 furlongs at Aqueduct. He won by a length on lead all throughout. A little wide, but he still took off clear. It was a very good run. And then before that on the slop at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs allowance race 72,000. Horse finished 4th by 9 1/4. Was very wide, but he had a little bit of a turn of foot that day from the wide portion of the track. This horse is a workhorse. He started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times since the beginning of this meet in December. Today he's making his 6th start. I think he's a fresh horse. He's been training well as of recently, and I think this is a step down class he's going to need, and I think he can get away with it. So 5-2, I'll take him here. Horse you possibly want to single on your early pick 4s or 5s. But to recap my selections for the 4th from Aqueduct, it's the Peeping Tom. I'll take the 8 horse Bon Race, and I'm gonna go 8-6-2-4 in the superfecta. To race Race number 5 from Aqueduct, it's the Sis City Stakes. It's a starter stakes going for a purse $60,000. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards, never start for a claim price $16,000 or less in 2018 or 19. We have a field of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the main track. 1,600, 1 mile. This race named after the great filly Sis City, who was a claimer, then got claimed by Rick Dutro, and who trained the horse, and then who owned it. It was a partnership, and one of the owners was Joe Torre, the former Yankee manager, and Sis City had a great 2 and 3-year-old campaign. She won the Demoiselle here at Aqueduct on a very nice afternoon. I was there, I remember it so clearly, because I believe Rockport Harbor won the Remsen that afternoon also. Then the next year, Sis City went to the Devona Dale, I believe, or the Bonnie Miss at Gulfstream, and going a mile and eighth at Gulfstream there in that first season, she, with the new mile and eighth racetrack, this horse, I think, broke the track record at that time, and she won by, I think, like 20 lengths. It doesn't get any easier than that. And then she went on to win the Ashland at Keeneland. I don't think she won that race by 20, but I think she might have won it by like 12 or 10, something stupid like that. And then, like everybody else, including me, I picked her in the Kentucky Oaks, where I think she finished 5th in 2005, but I couldn't tell you who won that Kentucky Oaks in 2005, because if, the horse probably wasn't even, one of those horses that was that good. God, I have to go look it up after this video. But Sis City, one of my favorite horses, but one of my worst Kentucky Oaks selections. But that was 15 years ago now. But my top selection here in the Sis City Starter Stakes, I'm going to go to the number 7 horse, who is Honey Grammy. I'm gonna go 7182 in the superfecta. 7182 super. Top selection 7 horse Honey Grammy. This 4-year-old filly by Grammy Hall. Linda Rice trains. Kendrick Caramouche gets the leg up. The horse's most recent outing came the 8th of March at Aqueduct. 6 furlongs, I'm claiming 40. The horse won by 3 lengths there. On lead all throughout. It doesn't get any easier than that. It was a very good run there. Maybe the time was a little bit slow, but still took off clear. Before that at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs, I'm claiming 40. The horse finished second by 3/4 length there, and looked like he was going to win. He set the pace early on, but then he just kind of got a little lackadaisical in the stretch, got lazy, and he got caught. He just couldn't keep up there. It wasn't the best day for him. And then I started launch race 50,000 Aqueduct 5.5 December the 30th. Horse won by 1 3/4. Had 3 other rivals there, a little bit wide, but it still took off clear. It was a very good run. He's run better as of lately over the winter here at Aqueduct. He's, I think, coming here again, speed from going a mile for the first time in quite a while. I think he'll do well, and I think he could get away with it. So I'll take him here 5-1. So to recap my selection for the 5th from Aqueduct, Sis City Stakes, gonna go with the 7 horse Honey Grammy. I'm gonna go 7182 in the superfecta. So now let's get to Race 6 from Aqueduct. It's the Kelly Kipp Stakes. It's a starter stakes going for a purse of $55,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. Never start for a claim price $12.50 or less in 2018 or 19. We have a field of 10 horses going the distance of ground of 1,200 meters or the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the main track. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs in the Kelly Kipp, and I believe Kelly Kipp actually has a track record for 6 furlongs here at Aqueduct. My top selection, I'm going to go to the number 4 horse 2 Put. I'm going to go 4-2-6-7 in the superfecta. 4-2-6-7 super. Top selection of 4 horse 2 Put. 7-year-old gelding by Tail of the Cat. Claudio Gonzalez trains. Victor Crosco comes in from Laurel to ride this one. The horse's most recent outing 2 weeks ago at Laurel on the 16th of March, 6.5 in a starter launch race, 16,000. The horse finished 3rd by 1 1/4 lengths. He just stalked most of the race, had a little bit of a lead in the stretch, but then he, weakened out of it. But he didn't weaken out of it so badly. Maybe he got a little tired, but, it wasn't the world's worst, but it wasn't the world's best race either. It was an average race. Before that, in the mud at Laurel, 6 furlongs and a handicap of 16,000. He finished second by 3/4 in length there. He was very wide, but, closed up well. It was a very decent effort at the end, better than the race afterwards. And then before that, at Laurel 6 furlongs and claiming 25, the horse went by 3/4, was very wide that day, but he got the lead, and then he, held on to a very nice victory. He's making his Aqueduct debut. It shouldn't be a problem. Has a good post race, speedy enough to win. So watch out for him here at 5-1. So to recount my selection for the 6th from Aqueduct, it's Kelly Kip. I'll take the 4 horse to put. I'm gonna go 4, 2, 6, 7 in the superfecta to race number 7. Race number 7 from Aqueduct, it is the Extra Heat Stakes. It's a starter stakes going for a purse $75,000. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. Never start for a claim price $25,000 or less in 2018 or 19. We have a field of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 1,300 meters or the distance of ground of 6.5 furlongs on the main track. 1,300, 6.5. Top selection here, I'm going to go to the number 7 horse, who is Hayfield. I'm going to go 7-5-1-6 in the superfecta, 7-5-1-6 here in the super. Top selection, 7 horse Hayfield, 6-year-old mare by Hainesfield. Jeremiah Englehart trains. Ray Lou Gutierrez gets the leg up. The horse's most recent outing came about 2 months ago now here at Aqueduct, 1 mile, or 6 furlongs, an off 6-2 claimer, and the horse finished 4th by 7 lengths there. And the horse didn't break all that well, was never comfortable, and it wasn't the day to win. Don't think it was like the right race for this horse to return to. I think coming here, hopefully breaking better. This horse should beat this group of horses to a point that I would single her in the late pick 4. Before that, in the Empire Distaff at Belmont, mile 16th, October the 20th, the horse finished 5th by 13.75 lengths there, and was very wide, and again, didn't show up there. But then before that, Aqueduct on the slop, 6.5. She won by 2.75. She sat back early, she got the lead, and then she took off. It was a very good closing victory. And then at Saratoga, 6.5 in the lounge race, 87,000. She ran a massive race there against some very tough horses at 8-1. She was wide, but she got the job done. That was a very good effort, earning her an 83 buyer. And then she won the race before at Belmont on the stop, going 7 furlongs very nicely. She's stepping down in class to these horses. She should win here. So at 7-2, I'll single her in the pick 4. So to recap my selection for the 7th from Aqueduct, it's the Extra Heat. I'll go with the 7 horse Hayfield. I'll go 7-5-1-6 in the superfecta. So now let's get to race number 8 from Aqueduct. It's the More to Tell Starter Stakes. It's a starter stakes going for a purse of $60,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. Never start for a claim price of $16,000 or less in 2018 or 19. Field of 11 horses going to post a distance of ground of 1,600 meters. If you want to go with that, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Aqueduct main track. 1,600, 1 mile, main track. Top selection, I'm going to go to the number 6 horse, who is Hall Anchor. I'm going to go 6-5-4-11 in the superfecta, 6-5-4-11 super. Top selection, 6 horse Hall Anchor. This 5-year-old gelding by Medardini, Rudy Rodriguez trains. Kendrick Caramouche gets the leg up. The horse's most recent outing came the 9th of March here at Aqueduct. Mile 8th in a Star Lounge race, 25,000. The horse finished 3rd by 3.75 lengths, was very wide that day. You don't want to be wide around 2 turns. This horse did it, and he just couldn't get into it. Today, if he wants to win, he's going to have to save some ground. If he saves some ground around the turn, I think he'll win. I also think the return to 1 turn should suit this one. Before that, option 4 to claimer at Aqueduct, 1 mile, January 26th. The horse went by 4, and, stalked on, set the pace most of the race, and then he just took off clear. It doesn't get any easier than that. And then before that, well, it does get a lot easier by winning the race for at Aqueduct, 1 mile, claiming 12.50, where the horse went by 10.75, and this horse on the lead all throughout got a 90 buyer, the horse's best buyer by a long shot to that point. And then before that, ran a claiming 25 at Belmont, going 6.5. The horse finished 6 by 10 lengths. Stalked early on, was wide around the bend from a wide post draw. It just wasn't her day. And then before that, Belmont mile quarter inner turf horse launch race, 90,000. Don't know why the hell they ran the horse there. She finished 6 by 12.25 lengths there. The 1st and 3rd place finisher horse won next that out. But this horse, just ran crap there. But I think coming here, 1 turn mile, has the speed if she wants to use it. She looked like she could stalk also if she needs to. But I think she's live, so 4-1, I'll definitely use her as a top selection. Of course I will. I like her. So to recap my selection for the 8th from Aqueduct, it's the More to Tell Stakes. Gonna go with the 6 horse Hall Anchor. I'll go 6-5-4-11 in the superfecta to Race number 9 from Aqueduct, it's the Stud Muffin Stakes. It's a starter stakes going for a purse of $75,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards who never started for a claim price of $25,000 or less in 2018 or 19. We have a field of 10 horses going a distance I really like. The distance of ground of 2,200 meters or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 3/8 on the Aqueduct main track. 2,200 meters, a mile 3/8. The last time I saw a mile 3/8 here at Aqueduct on the dirt was about 2004 or 5, and it was this Red Smith handicap, and I think Evening Attire won it, and he won it easily by like 10 lengths, and I don't know why they don't run more of these races because I like it. I will start on the turn, but it's not it's the run to the main portion of the stretch is less than 20 feet at the most, so it always pisses me off here in New York when a race is off the turf and it's run at a mile and a quarter or a mile 3/8 that they don't run it at that exact distance. I know at Saratoga you can't run a mile 3/8 on their main track, so they could at least put it to a mile and a quarter. I don't know why every single race is if it's off the turf we're gonna have to run it at a mile and 1/8. One of the weirdest conditions I saw was the John's Call handicap at Saratoga, normally running a mile 5/8 on their turf course. Since they took it off, if they took it off the turf, it'll be running a mile and 1/8 on the main track. They most definitely can run a mile 5/8 at Saratoga on the dirt. So I don't know why they don't do that, and I don't know why they can't do it at Aqueduct if mile 3/8 races off the turf like last year's Red Smith handicap. I don't know why they couldn't run it at mile 3/8 on the main track. They had to run it in mile 1/8, but that's for another day. My top selection here in the Red Smith in the Stud Muffin, I'm gonna go to the number 6 horse, who is Shalico. I'm gonna go 6-4-7-3 in the superfecta. 6-4-7-3 super. Top selection 6 horse Shalico. 6-year-old gelded by Malibu Moon. Michelle Nevin trains. Jose Lascano picks up the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 2nd of March at Aqueduct, a mile 5/16 in the Bernardini Stakes. The horse finished 3rd by 2 lengths. Was wide early on, was towards the backpack early on, but had a little bit of a turn of foot. It wasn't the world's worst effort. I think for sure this horse should stay the distance. Before that, kind of the local preparation for this race, which was a starter handicap for 25,000 here at Aqueduct going a mile 3/16, January 27th. The horse won by 3.5 and was on lead all throughout and just went away with it. That was a very good run, second off the break. And then at Aqueduct, 1 mile claiming 16. First start in a while. The horse finished 3rd by 3 lengths. Was very wide, a little bit of turn of foot, but desperately need the race, and then ran this race last year. Last year they ran this race at a mile, and this horse finished 3rd by 4 lengths, so a little bit wide, but he was showing some willingness at the end to get to go longer. Should like the distance, has been training well since the last race, and I think this horse could run well, and it wouldn't surprise me to see this horse stepping up to maybe go in some of the longer races on the dirt this summer. Maybe in a few weeks they'll see this horse on Kentucky Oaks Day at Belmont, and the Flat Out, which is a mile 3/8 on their dirt course, which is the local prep race for the Brooklyn. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him end up there if he does well today and face the big boys. But to recount my selections now for the 9th from Aqueduct, it's the Stud Muffin Stakes, as I stutter. I'm going to go with the 6 horse Shalico. I'm going to go 6-4-7-3 in the superfecta. Let's get to the nightcap from Aqueduct. The nightcap from Aqueduct, race number 10. It's the Caixa Electronica Stakes. It's a starter stakes going for a purse of $80,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards, never start for a claim price of $40,000 or less in 2018 or 19. We have a field of a dozen horses going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters or the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the main track. 1,400, 7 furlongs. My top selection here, I'm going to go to the number 7 horse, who is still Krez. Hopefully I said that right. I'm going to go 7-11-5-3 in the superfecta. 7-11-5-3 super. Top selection of 7 horse, still Krez. Gets Hernandez up in the saddle, the 7-year-old gelded by Alt Forrester. The horse's most recent outing came the 1st of February at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs and a claiming 45. The horse won by 3/4 of a length there. He stalked early on from a wide postura, but then he got the lead and he held on. It was a very good run there. Before then, off 62 at Aqueduct, 6.5 on the slop January the 5th. The horse finished 5th by 10 3/4 lengths there, and I don't think he liked the wet going. He didn't like the kickback, and he just didn't like sitting behind horses that day, and it wasn't the day to win. And then at Aqueduct, 6.5 and off 62 claimer. Horse finished 3rd by 3 lengths. Set the pace early on, but then kind of weakened out of it. But in but ran some quick fractions early on, so maybe got to win, and then ran the Vosberg, and ran crap in the Vosberg, finished 5th by 11 lengths, didn't break all that well, weakened out of it, it wasn't the day to win, but then did win a very nice race at Saratoga, going 6 furlongs and claiming 32, horse won by 4 3/4, on lead all throughout, got a very good victory that day to earn a 90 by speed figure, the second best for this horse. Likes Aqueduct, has been training well. I'll take my 12-1 to upset here in the nightcap. So to recap my selection for the 10th from Aqueduct, it's the Caixa Electronica. I'll go with the 7 horse. I'll go 7, 11, 5, 3 in the superfecta. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5. Good luck, everybody.